Hey guys, if you haven't already, make sure to follow the African Career Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast platforms.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the African Creator. It's Wendy here with Tayo. And Tayo.
What's up?
You understand why I said that? Basically, today's episode we're talking about everything NFT, right?
Non-fungible tokens.
Non-fungible tokens. And we have Teekay here, Tayo, here to talk us through, what an NFT is. Because to be honest, I'm very confused. I'm the least educated about it on this table, but that's the essence of this podcast, to learn. So, Tayo, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me.
So, brief story, I've known TK for about 5 years, maybe a bit longer. And TK has always been my plug for everything ahead, right? TK is an amazing creator, and he has done animations for different brands. He's one of the great minds behind the video game 30BG
Money Run.
The game with Davido, and he has done a bunch of other things, but right now he's a founder of the M.A.D.
M.A.D Collectors Society.
M.A.D Collectors Society, and that deals with everything NFT. So, what is NFTs? Break it down to
From the beginning, from the top.
Yeah.
term.
no,
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people ask this question, right? Where they just want to know. They don't want to know the technical. They don't want to know how it works behind the scenes. They just want to know what is it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was up last night thinking, how can I just break it down the easiest way? And I figured I'd start from here. NFTs are all about digital ownership, right? The fact that on the internet, if you were to put up a picture and somebody else saves it, there's a duplicate of it. So you don't know which is original and which is not. So NFTs are just about digital ownership and authentication. So essentially, if something is an NFT, it is unique.
Okay.
So, like you said earlier, non-fungible tokens. The word non-fungible stems from fungible. What's fungible? Okay, let me give it to you like this. There's a 1,000 naira note. You have a 1,000 naira note, and you have a 1,000 naira note.
Yeah.
If you guys swap, it's still the same value, 1,000, 1,000. That means the 1,000 naira note itself is a fungible asset. Now, if your 1,000 naira note was green and your 1,000 naira note was red, and you exchange, obviously they'll be different. So that makes those notes non-fungible. So
Okay.
it's registered on the blockchain, and it's unique, and it stays there, and it denotes the owner when it's transferred.
Okay. So, just briefly describe the blockchain. The blockchain.
Okay, so the blockchain is an open ledger system where transactions are uploaded to it, and it's open for everybody to see. So imagine, I'm supposed to be taking it down to the basics,
No,
right?
I mean,
No,
Okay,
it's
cool.
fine.
Okay, okay. So imagine you have a bank account. Whatever bank that is, they have your transaction history,
Yeah,
your details, and everything. Another bank doesn't have access to see what assets you have and what transactions you're making.
Yeah.
So imagine the blockchain as all those banks being able to see everybody's transactions. The only difference is you don't know who owns those accounts. So if it's secure in the sense that everybody knows this is here, everybody knows this is there. So it's secure. You can't steal it. You can't access it. So as an owner of a token on the blockchain, it's mine. I own it. So you can see I have 10 Bitcoin or 20 Bitcoin, but you can't access it unless you have my access codes.
Yeah.
So that's like what makes it secure. That's what brought about the craze where it's super secure. So that's the blockchain.
So that means the conversation of, because obviously when NFTs first became popular in mainstream, the first conversation was that I could just take a screenshot of the picture, right? But then it negates the fact, because if the NFTs are verified by the blockchain, then it makes it non-fungible.
Right. Let me give you guys an example, right? And I think this will help a lot of people understand it.
Okay.
When you go on Instagram, and I use Instagram because everybody knows Instagram, right? When you go on Instagram, right, and there's a celebrity that's there.
Yeah.
How do you know that's the actual celebrity?
Because it's verified.
It's verified. The check mark, right? Exactly. Even if you use that celebrity's profile picture on another account, if it's not verified, nobody cares. They know it's fake. So that verification factor,
Mechanism, yeah.
yes, that's what makes NFTs special, and that's what separates so when someone says, "Oh, it's just a picture," it's just a picture. No, it's not just a picture. The Mona Lisa is just a picture. How much is that? You know, Picasso's Guernica is a picture. How much is that? So when people look at it, and I think because we are spoiled by, an overload of content and images and videos, and it's everywhere, and this person can copy this and this person can copy that, people just think it's all the same. But for the first time in the history of humanity, there's technology that can actually verify these digital assets. That's why it's going so crazy. That's why it's so valuable. That's why it means, people that understand it, they see the value. That value converts to dollar amounts. It gets expensive because they've seen that value.
Yeah.
So from the outside, when you don't see the value, it's ridiculous that a picture of a monkey is $200,000. So
You know what you're saying, right? Something just clicked for me, right? And I was relating it to YouTube, right? So when you upload a song, if you're an owner of a song, there's metadata, right? And there's a code where no matter where you are in the world, if you upload that song in your YouTube video, I get to claim the revenue because of that unique metadata. So that just makes sense where the NFT has that, let's for lack of a better term, code that is verified on the blockchain. So I was just thinking about it because we're looking at some of Tayo's Teekay's NFTs, and there are different like assets, characters, and all of that. So
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, if we're on the metaverse, which is what the conversation has been about lately, right?
No, I think you need to explain. There needs to be an explanation of what metaverse.
Yeah,
Metaverse.
we'll explain it. I'm just
okay.
I just realized something.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? So if we're on the metaverse, for example, and somebody wants to use like this particular character in their or they want to use this particular piece of art or furniture in their metaverse gallery or whatever, right? They can't use it because that particular. I'm now looking at the monetization.
Or they have to pay. Or they have to pay to have access to using.
So it's like when you want to show, if a cinema wants to show the newest James Bond, they have to pay the studio a licensing fee to display it.
Exactly.
Same thing in the metaverse. If you want to use a digital asset that belongs to someone else, you have to pay a license.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, go on.
Another thing
this is not a joke. Like I legit.
You just got the aha moment, right?
Yeah, I legit.
Do you know? Before we continue, I'll say this, right? One of the reasons why this conversation, this particular episode, and this conversation about NFTs is so important is that very soon, as time goes on, that aha moment that you just had, every single person on the planet is going to have it, because I'll tell you why. The concept now is based around art and pictures, but NFTs can be utilized in every. Sometimes I just play a game with myself and I think, what industry would NFTs not make sense? I can't find. Today I haven't found one. If you could name one right now, I'll tell you a use case for NFTs in that space. Because remember, it is ownership. It is digital ownership. And when you let me give you another example, right? Let's just say Tayo has a Bugatti in his house. He would tell us he has a Bugatti in his house. Unless we go to his house, we can't see it.
And even if we see it, we're not sure it's
his, right?
Yeah.
But if he has an NFT of a 3D model of a Bugatti where Bugatti made only 5,000 of them in the entire world, he can pull it up and he can show it to us, and it to show his wallet address, when he bought it, who he bought it from, how much he bought it for. All that detail is on the blockchain.
And how much is what now?
And how much it's worth now in comparison to the other versions that are in the collection. So it sounds like a complex idea, but as with everything, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and if you think about, somebody said we are in the NFT space is where the internet was in 1998. If you think about 1998, we didn't have. First of all, touchscreen was so far away. We barely had pictures. If you remember the first AOL and Netscape pages, they looked so
text
crass.
only.
It was text only.
Hyperlinks.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was Web 1.0.
Yeah.
Web 2.0, we started having different types of media. There was like
Videos.
It's just coming out of Web 2.0, where it's videos, it's pictures, it's Instagram, it's social media, it's Snapchat. Now Web 3.0 is taking everything that has built up from 1 and 2 and adding the magic component, which is digital ownership, which is where you can provably own assets and items on the blockchain. So that's what Web 3.0 is, and Web 3.0 is the basis for NFTs and decentralized finance and all those things. But I'm not trying to complicate anybody's life by talking too much. I'm trying to be as simple as I possibly can. But yeah, every industry in the entire world could benefit from digital verification.
Talk us through your NFT journey. And
Yeah.
your
Like
NFT,
how did you get into it?
Okay, so I think like we were talking about earlier, when I was transitioning from doing film and production, right, and I started messing around with animation in a game engine, and then I started messing around with games. That's when we built the 30 BG money run game.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, David, again. So while I was in that space, one of my clients in New York were working. They approached me to build a game, and they said, okay, yeah, they broke down the idea of the game and and then they said, we want the game assets to be NFTs. And I'm like, what?
Really? That
Really?
far back?
I was an NFT. And then I'm like,
Really?
I started doing research. And that led me down a almost 48-hour rabbit hole of just taking in all the information. And I was like, wait, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And right now, I can actually get the value of my work directly from the people that that appreciate the work, not behind any gatekeeper, I don't need any intermediary. I can put my stuff out there, and if somebody likes it, if I create work and put it on and mint it as an NFT, if somebody sees the value in it enough to pay $50,000, I can get it. That blew my mind. And from there, I started doing a lot of research, and I'm probably my curiosity knows no bounds when it comes to tech stuff. So I just kept on going in, and I started interacting with people. And because I had done some work in augmented reality, I found this app called Vivi, and then I was like, oh, they have NFTs. And I opened it and I saw Batman. I was like, this is where they're going to find me. And I started seeing they had licenses to create NFTs for these big brands. And I'm like, that gave me another aha moment. I was like, wait, hold on. I know I'm not crazy when people are signing these $1 million deals to get DC and Marvel on to do NFTs. There's something here, and I need to pay very close attention. So from then on, I was eating, drinking, sleeping NFTs all day. Like everything I did was just trying to learn more about NFTs. So at the time, I couldn't even.
I'm sorry. How many years ago was this?
Oh, this was. I found Vivi was. It was last year. It was 2020. It was mid 2020 when they announced that Vivo was coming out. Mm-hmm. But I had been doing research on NFTs before that. But I was learning about the ERC 721 standards and the really tech stuff and what a smart contract is. And I was learning about the code stuff. And it's so funny now. This is the first time I'm actually saying it out loud. But I saw it from the tech stuff from the game we're trying to build. But when I saw them use that technology for Batman, I'm like, okay, this is where it's going. And then I started to, go into the OpenSea and, start to just feel around. And that's how it started for me. I just started collecting. I just started trying to collect.
Yeah. So if I was to ask, do you have a number of the amount of NFTs?
Yeah, like how many NFTs do you have?
So I know that I had bought some in my early days that I probably don't even remember about them. But you have to understand, I have NFTs in different types of NFTs.
Okay.
So if I was to give a round number, I would say like between 150 and 200. No, but so on when there was when they dropped the first ever Spider-Man NFTs,
Yeah.
I went crazy and it was affordable. They were like $40. I bought like 9. Now they're like worth like 1,000. So that's a different story. but again, when it comes
Tayo's
to
address, for Teekay's address, check link in the description.
so I have, like I said, I have different types of NFTs.
Yeah.
Like really quickly, and I was going to talk about this, but I didn't want to jump the gun. But there's a company that has basically mapped out the entire world, and they're selling virtual real estate.
Yes.
There are a couple of them have done that.
Let him talk.
A couple of them have done that. So when I was doing my research and everything, and I found that company, essentially when you buy like a block of land, they are releasing an augmented reality layer where you'll be able to advertise in spaces that you buy, right? So I was like, The first night I did, I went to Old Trafford. I tried to see if Old Trafford was available. Somebody had bought it. I was like, dang. Okay, so and then I went to all the famous places that I knew that I could find. So I started buying up the places I could get to.
Is Africa there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. If you name a place, I have virtual land off the side of Lekki Ikoyi Bridge. I snagged one at close to Shiro. I have some in Dubai, actually. The one corner of the Dubai Mall by the fountain.
Before this episode comes out. Okay.
So I have NFTs like that. And for example, now I bought in different places. Like I was just buying and buying. And I was buying these in February and they were cheap back then. Now they're probably, people are priced out of it right now. But I was buying those now. If I was to count the little square blocks that I have, I didn't even factor those into these ones. The 150, 200 ones is when I'm just degening. Like there's a phrase that we use in the NFT space, like when you call somebody a degen, like you know the word degenerate gambler, where you're just throwing money at it without. I met the bad gang of the NFT space on the internet, and these guys are nuts. Like I literally go in a room with them on Clubhouse, and they're talking about a project, and it could be a project that is maybe people have forgotten about, and they're really cheap, and they just start buying it up. So on the blockchain data, on the NFT data, when you see people are buying these NFTs, a lot of other people come and start buying. So we that bought the NFTs early, we start to increase the price, and then we can make our profits. So I did that a few times, and I'm like, So sometimes when I feel like maybe, and again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should always do your own research. I have some weird things in my wallet. I have some funny looking cats. I have like...
But you never know. They could become valuable.
They could be. Do you know, and this happened to me a few days ago where that particular account, I had cleared it out because I cleared all the funds out of there because I was like, I'm trying to do other things. So I woke up one day and I was like, why is there some money in here? So I had to start looking. I was like, oh, somebody bought this thing that I forgot. So essentially, it's just like when you're collecting, if you feel so, you can set different prices and just forget about them. If somebody else comes and likes that work, they will buy it.
They can bid for it.
You know, and then you just have that sitting down there. You know, you transfer your assets.
You know, when you think about it, it's like I make real estate videos. I do real estate in Nigeria, and then explaining it to people that people are buying real estate. They are buying land. Like you said, you bought land in Lagos. We can't see the land. Like, where's the land? But it's in a virtual space. Like, how does that work?
Okay, so
and also, what's the value for you?
Okay, this is the value for me. Well, let me start from how it works.
How does it work? Yeah.
So, you know how you can create Snapchat, the geotags?
Yeah.
So imagine if Snapchat was to start selling virtual land, right? And anywhere you go in your Snapchat app, if they put content there, you'll be able to see it through your phone. Kind of like a geotag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that idea. So anybody that, let's say somebody buys land, looking at Google Maps from the top, somebody buys land over here, right? Let's say in front of you guys building, right? Or I buy land for you guys building through Snapchat. I can put a big clown in augmented reality there, and anybody that goes there on Snapchat and pulls up their phone will be able to see what I've put there.
Yeah.
Because I own that space. Yeah. Now, the upside for me is that if I own that space and I don't know anything about augmented reality, I can rent it out to somebody else and they can advertise. I can rent it out to MTN and MTN will have some augmented reality thing floating in there. So if I buy land off the side of the Lekki Ikoyi Bridge and I go to Glow, for example, and I say, okay, I have this virtual land here, you guys can advertise. They can put a floating Glow symbol there, and anybody that interacts with it, right now it's through the phone that you would use to see what content is there. But think about it. You guys have heard about, these companies going into wearables, Apple Glass and Google Glass. And imagine, Facebook just did the Ray-Ban thing.
Yeah.
Imagine wearing your Facebook Ray-Bans and you can see the content that people have put in these spaces of the virtual land that they own.
Saw advertising. Oh my days.
So
like Ready Player One.
Pretty much like Ready Player One. And anybody that hasn't watched Ready Player One,
need to go and watch it.
Please watch Ready Player One, because that's where we're going. And it's going to reach. I'm so excited about this because it's going to reach everybody, whether they like it or not.
I think for me, it's like one of the reasons why I'm also like very excited, because I love tech. Like I love new stuff. It's like I think I missed the internet age when the internet started.
Yeah.
But this is happening right before our eyes, and we are sort of at the beginning, because I think this is still very early.
Extremely early.
So knowing what we know now, or learning some of these things you're saying now, like it's mind blowing.
It definitely is. And let me take this opportunity to talk about the M.A.D Collectors Society.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I told you guys about how I have hundreds of NFTs just from different places, right? So I consider myself a M.A.D collector, right? But then I started to think of, okay, I know all of this stuff, and it's benefit. Like I'm getting the benefits in my own way. How can I spread this across? I know a lot of people don't have the propensity to take in all this information like I do. So I decided to create the M.A.D Collectors Society, and M.A.D is an acronym for Motherland Art to the Diaspora. The idea is that I know a lot of creatives in, whether it's digital art manipulation, whether it's 3D, or I know a bunch of different artists that do awesome work. They're very talented, but they don't get their just due. They don't get the value of the kind of creativity that they have, and that's essentially what the blockchain provides for anybody to be able to participate and make a living. So I created the M.A.D Collectors Society for artists and creators to come together under one roof and interact and find the best ways to extract as much value as possible, right? So in doing that, and in my research, I realized that one of the best ways to unify a lot of people is through PFP projects. So PFP projects are kind of like the ones that you see. You've heard of, I'm pretty sure anybody that is probably watching this or curious about NFTs heard from CryptoPunks. They would have heard CryptoPunks sold for X amount of money. Yeah. The Bored Ape Yacht Club, Shaq just bought one, and then this one is $200,000. The idea is that when they create these collections of 10,000, 5,000, however many, everybody that buys in becomes part of a community, and that's how they share value in many different ways. So I decided to go out and create my own profile picture project, but different from everything else that is on the blockchain right now. Yeah. If you look at it, it's either a pixelated picture or it is an animal, an ape, a cat, a dog, or something. So I'm like, I'm going to do it different, right? I'm Nigerian, I'm African. There should be black skin on the blockchain as early as possible. There should be infusions of our culture on the blockchain as early as possible. Yeah. So when you look at the collection that we've created, right, the way it works, you're saying something about traits and assets. Yeah. So you create one base figure, which is a person, like a character, right? And then you create the different hats, different, sunglasses, different clothes, and blah blah. You create those options, and then we write code, and you tell the code, okay, I want 1,500. So the program randomly assigns, it mixes and matches a whole bunch of those attributes to 1,500. So you have 1,500 unique characters. Now, when you buy one of those, and this is what I've seen in the space, like people that buy like their Bored Apes, when you buy a Bored Ape and the community is vibrant and there's value coming from it, over time you start to identify with that ape. You understand? Right now, I have so many friends that I've never seen their faces on the internet, but I recognize their
Almost
NFTs as their exactly.
Oh wow!
So this is more personalized. Now, I took it a step further because you can only do what you know. Right? For me, my background is I'm half Yoruba and half Igbo. So I did art. I did all the art in there myself. So I put a few things in there that showcase our culture. Like the Igbo people wear isiagu. One of the characters is wearing isiagu. My personal character is wearing agbada, and he has his fila, and he has like the beads there. Then I did different backgrounds. So there's a background there that has the Lekki Ikoyi link bridge in the silhouette there. I did a bunch of other things. It's just so many traits and attributes I put together. Oh, and then there are facial features as well. So some of them have like tribal marks. Did you get what I mean? Then there are different types of different colors of skin, different shades of skin. So some of them are like very, very light to very, very dark. And one of the most important pieces of things I put in there was the fact that one of the skins is named vitiligo. Obviously, only melanated people can get vitiligo. So there's certain significance that's all packaged in these cute cartoon characters. But what's behind it is the community that's being built. Going back to Motherland Art from the Diaspora, one of the first projects that we're building is a space in the metaverse where it's a virtual reality auction house. So you can move around in the space and interact and do all of that, but it's a cool space that you go in and you're mystified by. But at the same time, there's art on the wall that you can bid on. You know. So if you think about it, when there's a prominent artist that has an auction event going on in the auction house, artists in the community have their artwork around, and then that spotlight spills over to them. You know, so in our roadmap, eventually those spaces, those metaverse spaces that we are creating, we're going to be creating the first early adopters will get their own space to either showcase the art that they've collected or showcase the art that they've created, so other people can come in there and then buy. You can have like metaverse drop parties or launch parties where you invite people. You know how you can go to Twitter spaces and invite people to a space, or go to Clubhouse and invite people? We're trying to build something like that where you can have your space and then you can invite people to come and hang out in there. We're trying to theme it because I have experience in architectural visualization. So we're trying to build custom spaces. Like let's say, there's a DJ Copy wants to, she's collecting NFTs and she wants a space that looks like her pink penthouse. You could build that. Let's say I go and they release the Batmobile as an NFT and I'm a diehard Batman fan. I can have a showcase space that looks like the Batcave and have my Batmobile sitting there. And the idea is that we're starting off with the art auction house, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to create like these kind of spaces for you to keep everything you've collected. I have about 200 NFTs. I have so many different types of NFTs. I have a pair of digital sneakers called it's from French Montana's collection. They're called the Iron Mans. So they have fire coming from the back. Now I can go into certain metaverses and wear those digital sneakers in the metaverse. You guys have to think about this. Like fashion is coming. Nike is already talking about it. People are going to be showing their sneakers off in this space. So when we create these M.A.D Collector spaces, you can have a whole rack of different types of sneakers that you have. And because it's digital, you can do things. You can do all kinds of things that you can't do in the real world. I can imagine Nike having sneakers that have wings on them, and then they're in there, So without being too long-winded, which I already have been, but the M.A.D Collectors Society, is pretty much my my way of sharing the knowledge that I've acquired, and also an easy entry into people to understanding it. Right now, we have a community of about 500 people where in there I post daily videos of things I'm doing research on. I post beginner videos, like everything I've talked about here. Like what is an NFT from the beginner's point for a beginner. How to get in, the concept of the blockchain, why NFTs make sense. All that content I put there, and I've been on calls with people at 3:00 in the morning, like Ukraine and different places where they meet me on Instagram. It's like, I need to know, and I'm saying, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. Wow. So, I mean,
I think as you were talking, I also realized that you've not explained what the metaverse is in a very, because we went over it.
Okay, so the metaverse is not a particular place or a particular environment or or owned by a particular person, contrary to whatever you might choose to name your company. Yeah. The metaverse is an idea that you can own or earn digital assets and use them or utilize them in different experiences. So I would argue that if you're on Instagram for like 3 hours a day, you're in the metaverse.
Yeah. In a way.
In a way.
Like a 2D metaverse.
Exactly. So the only thing that's going to change is probably the mediums, where it might shift from being on your phone to being augmented reality or to being virtual reality or whatever. But at the end of the day, there is digital interactions that a lot of life as we know it is based on. Yeah. The only problem is right now in Web 2.0, ownership is very blurry. So Web 3.0 is going to establish that ownership. It's going to bring to the forefront where, think about it, people have been earning from games for a long time. Yeah. But being in the metaverse, or we're building the metaverse, there are going to be different games that you can win or earn items in and then go and sell somewhere else. Yeah. That is the idea of the metaverse, where it's not just one thing. It's not just one place. There are different places. There are different things. Like you mentioned, Sandbox. Yeah. Sandbox is like is a game where you buy land and you do whatever you want in the land. So when you go to the Sandbox and you want to see the land, so many people have bought massive estates there. One of such people is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has a sick island in Sandbox where, he's going to have parties. He has an amphitheater that he's going to actually be there with his avatar. Wow. To get access to the pass now is like $5,000. But wow. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and people just need to understand that the metaverse isn't a place, isn't a thing. It's an idea. It's an idea that, you can actually be an individual and earn $1 million by selling something as valuable. Yeah. You can create a community, and you guys do literally what you want, and then you can have like the community convene in the digital world and in the real world. So I hope I did a good job explaining that.
I'm telling you, like, I genuinely have just mind opening, like a couple things I'm going to try out. Like I said before this episode is out, because it's really interesting, the concept of being able to, because it's no longer like imagined, right? It becomes the new reality. Like these things that we think of perceived. Yeah. Right, mm-hmm. Like the world is becoming a Black Mirror episode day by day. Like everything is realized.
You saw the Facebook glove, the glove that you can wear and touch stuff. That it's not. I'm like, wow,
it's becoming realer and realer. Yeah.
Do you know? It's actually kind of cute when I see people watch this stuff and they're like, oh wow, and I'm thinking,
it's been there.
I was looking on my Instagram, right? And in 2013, I remember like my thesis was on augmented reality. I'm like,
I remember.
I've been here for a while.
There was a version of Google Maps. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was Google Maps, but when I was in uni, right, I had this T-Mobile sidekick, right? Mm. And it had an AR version, right? So I remember every time I go to, and it wasn't like fully, released, but it was like every time I go to Central London and I want to find, like, I put it up and then it has all these like visual invisible markers.
Okay.
And it's like, Yeah, so it has existed, but I think the difference now is that it's becoming it's becoming real, like it's becoming the reality.
And I think there's also more massive adoption now, gradually. Like now everybody's knowing about it. It's like NFT. Even people who don't know what an NFT is, they know they've been seeing NFTs online. They heard Jay-Z.
I get so many messages. I get
can
so
imagine.
many messages.
Imagine.
But the thing is, I feel that when somebody really wants to get the knowledge about it, once you start to hear words that confuse you, you kind of retreat. But I'll tell everybody, these words are nothing to be scared about, because if you just take a deep breath and take it one by one, it starts to make sense. And people have to understand that some of us have been in this space for a long time. Like, a day in NFT space is like a week in real life. So we move at such a fast pace where some of the things that were trending 2 weeks ago are different now. Yeah. But it will take me 2 weeks to explain to somebody, okay, this is what so am I explaining what was then or what is now? Yeah. So you just have to get in and then start to like dig a little bit deeper, and then you follow the trend, and eventually it's going to come. I'm trying to talk to a couple brands to do digital art exhibitions. And not just to do it for doing sake, not even just to sell, but just for people to come, see, experience, and then ask those questions right there. A lot of people are scared to ask questions. So many people are scared to ask questions, where I don't want to sound like I'm stupid. There are no stupid questions. There are none. There's no stupid questions. If you want to know, you want to know. So with time, as people start to realize the upside, the potential, and another thing that deters people is like, oh, it's so expensive. You told me about your friend with the expensive I'll say one thing. Actually, let me say 4 things. In my journey earlier on, when I was trying to figure out stuff, 4 times I remember I won free NFTs. So each one I sold. Actually, 3 times I won. One I got it because something happened. But each one of those I sold for nothing less than $500. Keeping in mind that to the person that's like, I don't have money to get in there, once you're just curious, and a free NFT will stumble into. As a matter of fact, come join the M.A.D Collectors Society. I'll give some people some free NFTs.
Let's go.
Like, I do giveaways in my Discord all the time. But even I'm trying to now start doing some giveaways on like Instagram, on platforms that people are currently used to. So the idea is that I will give a free NFT just so I can teach you what NFTs are. If that's what's going to get you to come in the door, do you know?
Okay. So you've heard it first.
Yeah.
Drop a comment. We'll figure out the mechanism to pick somebody later.
And you have to be subscribed
for the chance.
The last thing I want to say is how can African creators take advantage of?
Yes.
I know you've mentioned a lot about like how can we as creators, whether you're a photographer, you're a filmmaker, you're a YouTuber, how can we take advantage of this space as it is now?
I'd say the first step to taking advantage of this space is, well, I've said it like 3 times. I'm going to keep on saying it. Do research. And the NFT space can't exist without community. Yeah. I'd say if you're a creator and you're trying to benefit from the space, put aside every idea of, I'm bigger than this person, I'm smaller than that person. Find people that are also curious about NFTs like you, and that's the first step, community, right? Align yourself with communities that are filled with people that also want to take advantage of it, and it's just the way it works. You would find a way. You will find somebody that is doing something. You find somebody that you can relate to. So the key word is community, right? And which leads me back to why I'm doing all of this in the first place. It's like, I have my NFTs. I know where to get my gains. I know where to get my flips. I know, I know what's happening. I know where to invest my profits and actually be okay for myself. But I wouldn't be doing the industry justice if I did not bring other people with me, and all I can do is just tell everybody, okay, this is what it is. This is how it goes. So I know there are other people like me. Shout out to Afro Bubble. Fun fact, Afro Bubble and M.A.D Collectors Society are the first 2 Nigerian NFT projects on the Solana blockchain. Arguably the blockchain, but let me stick to Solana and be humble a little bit. But Afro Bubble have a very vibrant community. There are about 2,500 people in there. My advice, again, is find these communities, people that are actually doing stuff, those of us that have been building, and just get in there and start asking questions. So the first thing, think about community, do research, and ask questions.
Awesome.
We do something here where we try to highlight creators, right? So we get our guests to pick a creator of the week, someone who you're inspired by, or someone who you want to give a shout out to or highlight. Who is your creator of the week?
Okay, so I always do preambles first. If you guys heard of Beeple? Beeple.
Yeah, I know Beeple.
Beeple was the guy that he sold an NFT for $69 million.
Okay.
And how he sold that NFT was that he was doing art every day, and after a while he combined it into 5,000.
Was it 5,000?
5,000.
Wow,
5,000 images, and he auctioned it for $69 million. So there's an artist called Xeus Imagery. He's a very talented young man.
He's an African?
Yes, he's a Nigerian. He's one of the people that inspired me to build the M.A.D Collectors Society and actually be able to get his talent to the forefront. Yeah. Xeus makes art if you go on his Instagram, and
Xeus,
it's not
Xeus Imagery.
Yes, I'll send you guys the information so you can tag it up. But he makes art every day, and because I come from a 3D background, I can appreciate the work that goes into what he does.
That's a lot of work.
So him doing that consistently, whether there's money or there's no money, he's making art. So that's who I'd pick, and I hope that he becomes the people of Nigeria someday. So
fantastic. This has been an amazing episode. Don't ever say we never did anything for you guys. Thank you, TK, for joining
Thanks a lot.
the African
Thank you
Creator
guys for having me.
Podcast.
I've learned so much.
Maybe we will have a TAC NFT at some point.
True.
Yeah.
You guys definitely should do that, though. You should actually do that. Oh, and by the way, if anybody that's watching this, right? I keep on saying M.A.D Collectors Society.
Yeah.
What we're also doing is, if you have an idea, and if you're in the creative field, if you have an idea but you don't know how to link it to make it work in the NFT space, come talk to us. We are helping people figure out how to get their own projects off the ground and actually make sense of the space. So I'll share the links.
There's
Discord.
a link. There's definitely a link in the description and on the screen here. So definitely check TK out. Check the M.A.D Collectors Society. There's a recent NFT drop. Hop on there and check
it's
out
live
some
right
stuff.
now.
It's live right now.
If anybody is already in this space, is live. Is still cheap. It's very, very cheap. It's less than $100. Yeah. So definitely grab more than one, because you want to sell one for profit.
So thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey guys, if you want the chance of winning an NFT from the M.A.D Collectors Society, make sure you like this video and comment "I want an NFT" under the comment section. Also, subscribe to the African Creator Podcast on YouTube and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all podcast platforms. Follow the African Creator Podcast and the M.A.D Collectors Society on Instagram, and follow the M.A.D Collectors Society on Twitter. This giveaway closes on the 11th of December 2021, and the winner will be selected at random. Good luck!